Brands are staying relevant at a time of deep crisis. Following my blog last week about the coronavirus situation, what things might look like by June, I want to say a few words about how your brand can stay relevant to your customers in the increasingly unstable and changeable world that we're now living in. The last thing anyone would want is for a brand to talk to them about their products and services and try to sell them anything at this time. So what should you be doing? Well, respond in a human way. You see, the best brands are responding in a human way with compassion and empathy. During this time, people are out of their normal routines. Their patterns of behaviour are changing. We're all in distress mode and as such are more likely to pay attention to the brands that engage with us in the right way. You see, the right way is to avoid being perceived to be a crisis profiteer. Instead, lead with the emotional journeys of your customer, with your purpose and the power of your personal brand. I've been thinking a lot about brand and the correct way to approach both business and personal branding due to the book that I'm currently writing, provisionally called Brand Tuned: How to Perfect, Protect and Promote Your Brand. As I've done this, I've truly understood what brand is really all about. So I've been looking deeply into my own motivations and values and defining my brand purpose, which is to change the way brands are created so they properly reflect the business environment of the 21st century and can therefore succeed with their own purpose and their own aims. You see, if you haven't given your brand the deep thinking it needs, now might be a good time to do so. And I'm giving you an opportunity to join my Brand Tuned Facebook group to access free webinars and resources and discussions I will be hosting. You see, behaviour changes during times of crisis. Interestingly, it's easier to be seen during a recession than during a boom when there's a lot of noise. Right now, there is a shock going through the economy, which makes people more responsive. You see, when we're going about our normal routine activities and the world is certain with established traditions, we tend to make decisions in autopilot. Decision making is simple because we know what works and we don't have to think too hard about our responses. We also tend to tune out most messages in order to cope in a noisy world. Well, it's similar to when you're learning a new skill, such as how to ride a bicycle. You have to concentrate really hard and put in a lot of effort and work into the activity initially. However, once you've mastered the skill, you no longer need to think about what you're doing. Instead, your actions become automatic and routine. You're on autopilot and just do it. Right now, as this virus has thrown our worlds upside down, we have fewer established routines. We're having to adapt to the changes. The new situations we find ourselves in call for different decision making to emerge. This very instability presents a great role for your brand. You see, brand management in this scenario of changing contexts and emerging new habits means avoiding any actions that would be perceived to be inappropriately opportunistic. Even companies that supply relevant health products are reluctant to mention coronavirus in case they're seen as profiting from the crisis. Instead, they're investing in relationships with customers and potential customers. Joe Wicks provides an interesting example of how a response to the crisis can widen your exposure. You see, he's turned from body coach to the PE teacher of the nation after setting up online classes to help keep kids active while they're at home. It's a 30-minute session for little kids right up to secondary school. Get involved, have fun, as he puts it. You don't need a lot of room. I'm going to take care of this. This is happening. I'm going to be the nation's PE teacher. How business leaders are responding. What I'm seeing from the business educational leaders is that they're driving people to online communities where they deliver value in the form of webinars and live question and answer sessions without charge. They're providing support to help people get through this crisis, answering their questions, whether on webinars or posted within the groups or in other ways. Consider how your brand can develop deeper consumer relationships. How can you become a trusted source of accurate information or consumer-centric advice during this period of uncertainty and anxiety? How can you play an enhanced role in people's lives? The key is to avoid acting in ways which would be perceived as wanting to take advantage of a crisis. Now is a great time for seizing that opportunity because the world has shifted and people are having to change their normal behaviour. Another behaviour to avoid is going into cost containment mode, which is a normal response during times of stress, wanting to quietly weather the storm. What about you? Well, remember you have a window of opportunity right now to earn the trust of customers by staying present and delivering value during a period of heightened anxiety when people are more receptive because they're out of their normal routines. Their patterns of behaviour are changing. It's easier to be seen right now than during a boom because there is a lot less noise. Right now there's a shock going through the economy which makes people extremely open to new ideas and concepts. We are out of our normal routines, so we're listening rather than in autopilot mode, which generally means ignoring most messages. This is a great time, therefore, to lead with the emotional journeys of your customer, lead with your purpose and the power of your personal brand, and reinvent your product and your pricing model to adapt to an online world. Don't miss this opportunity to send a unifying or emotionally resonant message. Remember, consumers are deeply uncertain and ready for your unique message. Our response at AZRIGHTS will depend on what you want, what your questions are. Do reply to info@azrights.com to let me know. In the meantime, join our Facebook groups if they resonate with you. As I've been thinking a lot about how to achieve our purpose of changing the way brands are created so they properly reflect the business environment of the 21st century, I can see two clear ways in which I can support a lot of you. One is through a Facebook group for professional service partners who want to work on their personal brands and increase their engagement on social media. The other is through a Facebook group for businesses that want to use the time opened up during the current slowdown in order to work on their business and personal brand. This starts with 7 videos which you can also access as a PDF to begin to understand the issues. Please apply to join the one that is most appropriate to you, although we do have a strict criterion for the first group and will not accept anyone who isn't within professional services. Thank you.